Alright, so to actually add your orthographics into Maya, I want to go over the orthographic view. So there's a button here. This is going to pull up 4 different views, as you can see. So we have perspective views of your top, front, side, and perspective view. And then if you want to toggle between any of these, you can just mouse over the viewport and hit space. Hit space again, it'll bring you back to orthographic view and go into your front view. So that's a really quick and easy way to toggle between views. You can also modify these, so you can change your camera that you're looking at in any given window. So let me just make an extra camera as a sort of weird demo object. So that new camera is there. So what we can do, if we press and hold space, actually, what am I saying? I never do things that way. You could. If you press and hold space, it brings up this lovely menu, and it has like all of these options, all of the stuff up here, and you basically just mouse over stuff and then like click, and it's a quick and easy way to get to your menus. So not a terrible idea to be aware that exists. But what you can do is go to panels, and then again change your camera. So you have your perspective cameras here. You have your orthographic cameras if you wanted to switch to a different orthographic camera and sort of rearrange these. You also have the option. No cat. You also have the option to look through selected objects. I'll go over that a little bit more later with some lighting stuff. But for now, this is pretty much all you need to know for getting started with the orthographic views. So to import an image plane, what you want to do, or your reference images I should say, there's 2 ways to do it. There's a really janky way, which is basically make a plane assigned a material, and then you can add your texture onto that. What I recommend doing is going to View, Add Image Plane, and just do Import Image. So you should have your project set, and be able to find your image. So I'm gonna dig mine up on my desktop really quick. So give me 5 seconds. But basically, it's just gonna throw a little image at. I'm having rage at my computer, and also my cat is standing on my keyboard right now, so that's fun. All right, give me a sec. I got a lot of stuff on my desktop. A lot of stuff. Pencil sharpener. Pencil sharpener. Haha. Ooh. Whoops. Okay. I saved it as a PSD file. Maya will open PSD files, so I'm just gonna run with that. I do recommend saving them as a PNG. It makes them a little bit, easier to deal with in the future. But that'll pull your orthographic image in, and you can see that the basic move and rotate tools and all of that stuff still work the same way that they did previously. So what you would want to do is basically do that with the rest of your images. So again, just View, Image Plane, Import Image. I'm sorry, in the rest of your cameras, because you have images from each side of this, so you can map them to the corresponding image. So sorry, give me another 5 seconds to find this repeatedly. At least this time I know it's a PSD file, so it should go a little faster. And this is also something that you would want to do, strictly speaking, if you were doing this for realsies, you would want to set your project and then put any of your source images, reference images, in your source images folder. And that way you wouldn't need to, dig through your whole desktop full of 2,000 files to find anything. It would just be, there in your source images folder, and Maya will automatically know what to do with it. All right. So we have our images in Maya. Sometimes I find it a little bit hard to look at these and figure out how I want to arrange them on the screen. So you can also turn these off. I find these catastrophically awful to look at in the perspective view. So you can do show and then just uncheck any of these things. So in this case, I'm looking for image planes. Image planes, cool. So I'm just going to turn them off. So they're still there. They're just not visible in this particular frame. So what I'm going to do is just start out with a little plane, and I'm just going to really quickly block in this pencil sharpener just so I can see what angles of stuff I'm looking at. So I have this plane. I'm going to go ahead and extrude. This was a weird way to add this object into the scene. But at least now I have, and I'm pressing 4 to go into wireframe view, and just sort of switching back and forth between orthographic views based on, pretty much whatever's easier for me at the given moment. So I'm going to zero this out and say, all right, this shape is going to be basically like my pencil sharpener. And I'm going to move all of my orthographic images to sort of align with this object being at 0, 0, 0. So, alright, so that side's pretty much good and set up. This side, I'm just going to say that this is going to be like the top of the pencil sharpener. And clearly this is like not, you know, that little rectangle is like not modeled to scale. But I can go in and just grab these vertices and drag them up. And now we have the basic shape of our pencil sharpener. And that's honestly pretty much like the easiest way to set this up. Again, just go through and like align the images as needed. So yeah, so I mean there's like some different, what is this object doing? There is one other thing to be aware of. So you'll notice, and this is like a weird thing, so you'll notice that like I have this face selected here. If I go ahead and show, I'm pressing spacebar to get to this. If I go ahead and show my orthographics, you'll notice that they're clipping through the image, which means that even if I'm in wireframe mode and like, right, like so I'm wireframe here and I can see this like highlighted orange face to select it. If I click this end one, I'm not seeing it, and the reason for that is because the image plane is basically cutting it off. So what I want, good lord, what I want to do is move my image planes, and if you watch down here, you can see it. There's like gonna be a little edge that pops up, but as soon as I move this image plane past my object, you're able to see the full object. So it's also a good idea, in my opinion, to sort of, where am I going? What am I moving right now? Okay, whoops. So it's not a bad idea to also move the image planes away from your object. In this case, if you move it to the wrong side, it's just going to cover your entire object, so you're looking at the front view here. I'm going to push that back. It doesn't really matter how far these are pushed back, as long as, again, they're not like intersecting with your object. And then I'm going to go ahead and hide these, because I find them really hard to look at in the perspective view. I don't really need them there. So entirely personal working preference. But that's more or less how you put image planes into Maya. You can, double click and rename these however you want them in the outliner. And the reason that it's nice to have them sort of pre-scaled is that if you decided that you did want to sort of rescale any of these, they all, and this is going to like push them out of place, but you can basically scale them and they're all going to be the same size, like all of your, your stuff is already laid out, so as long as your image is the same size, you can just move them back into place and call it a day. Whereas previously, if I wanted to, import an image, I would have had to basically do what I did in Photoshop in Maya, but then every single time, like if you scale the images, they don't necessarily like line up perfectly again, and then you have to like, crop them and do a bunch of other stuff. If you ever want to, put this in a different program or something like that, then you would have to like redo all of this. It's a huge pain. So that's basically using image planes in Maya. If you need to delete them for whatever reason, you can just, they work like regular objects basically. And then you can also rotate them if you need to, which you should not be doing for this assignment, but you can if, for some reason you need to do that in the future. So that's image planes in Maya.